I want us to see with a question we don't ask enough. What if one day we regret how we treated our parents? What if we look back and wish we had done better? Now, this is about pretending that what happened didn't happen. This is about pretending that our parents are perfect. This is about pretending that they neglected your met expectations, the physical absence or the mental absence or the emotional absence didn't happen. They all happened. But this is about asking ourselves, is there something we're doing or not doing that our future selves might wish we had done differently? Why this conversation matters? One, a lot of us carried quiet wounds from our parents. Things they did, things they didn't do, what they said and what they didn't say. And sometimes because we're hurt, we distance ourselves. We tell ourselves, there's still time. I'll call them next year. I'll call them next month. I'll call them next week. I'm here to tell you that time is slippery. One day the people we think will always be here won't be here, and then all we'll be left with will just be memories or version of relationship that we wish we built when we could. A lot of older people say they wish they had spent more time with family. You really hear someone say, I wish I had held on to that grudge a little bit longer. I wish I had, kept that malice a little bit longer than I actually did. People would always, regret why they didn't forgive earlier, why they didn't just make contact with that person before they left, before they died, before they couldn't anymore. And let this be a voice of reason. This is not to say or to undermine what they did. This is not to make excuses for them. No. Someday your future self might wish you had asked your parents more questions about their childhood, about how they grew up, about their own parents, how they were treated, about what they went through as young adults. Some of them were there during the war, for those of us from the southeast. Some of them actually fought in the war and they were left with PTSD. There were no counseling, there were no therapy to help them get through all of that. And somehow all of those trauma that they witnessed as younger people during the war or from their parents or from their environment reflected on how they raised us. There was nobody to help them. You know how we say that it looks like we are all raised by the same parents? Well, because they were all doing the same thing. They didn't know any better. This is not undermining your hurt or your pain or what you went through. This is not saying that, this is not making excuses for them generally. This is just saying that it's time to let the bitterness go. The harder you hold on to that bitterness, the harder it will be for you to let go, to forgive and not repeat same to your children at the end of the day, so it doesn't become like a cycle that you pass down to your children. Some of us wish our parents were more caring, that they said I love you more, that they were there for our PTA meetings, that they were there to help us with our homework, or that they did a lot of stuff that we had wanted them to do. But I'm sure as adults now you would understand why they weren't available to do all of that, or because they couldn't give what they didn't have. They only could just try their best. At 37, my dad already had a sixth child at 37. There are 37-year-olds right now who are still struggling because of the economy, because of life and all of that. They're still struggling to even meet life expectations. But imagine a 37-year-old man with 6 children, and my mom was 31, 32 at that time. A 31-year-old woman with 6 kids. 31-year-olds today don't even have 1 kid. Some people anyways. So, but imagine having to deal with all of that back then. And not just their kids, they had family members to take care of, they had village people to take care of. Burdened with all of that, you could see why they weren't always available the way we wanted them to, where we wanted them to. And it is time that we let go of that hurt. So you don't pass down same, because it's easy for you to say, oh, our parents didn't do this, our parents didn't do that. You're focused on what they did or didn't do, that you're not listening, there's no retrospection. You're not even seeing that you're already exhibiting the characters, the behavior that you didn't like in your parents. Yes. And before you know it, if you check for those of us who are already parents, check that you're not exhibiting same to your children. You're not always angry, aggressive, resorting to violence, insulting and calling them names and all of that. Not even there, not even being emotionally and mentally there for them. When some of us are overcompensating because of what we didn't have, you're not overcompensating, which can also be harmful, because there should be a balance, right? Anyways, I'm here to tell you that it is time for us to look back and maybe give them a call, send a text message, ask how they're doing genuinely, forgive them for all of that. It's not for them, it's for you, so that you could breathe a little bit lighter, so you could have clarity of mind to pursue what's best for yourself and for your children. And I understand that sometimes our parents can be hard to be close to. They're stubborn, they're dismissive, they're critical even. Maybe they don't even know how to say sorry or how to say I love you in a way that you really feel it. Sometimes we distance ourselves because of real pain. And I'm not saying we ignore that pain or pretend it didn't happen. I'm saying that what if the healing is part of your freedom and theirs too? What if your softening could break up the cycle your children will thank you for? How do we get this right? So that we don't carry regret later. One, I think you should call them. Like I said earlier, even if it feels awkward, check in, not just out of duty, but genuinely ask them how they're doing. You'll be surprised, how much it would mean to them. Ask their stories. Ask your parents about their childhood. Ask them about what they wanted when they were younger. Find out from them what their dreams were, if they even wanted kids. Yeah, ask them if they really wanted kids. Because not all men are fathers. Not all women have the motherly instinct in them. But because of society, we're expected to, get a certain age, marry and have kids. Imagine raising kids that you never even wanted. You're bound to get a lot of things wrong. So ask them questions, find out so that you would forgive them, faster. Not everything needs a long conversation or confrontation. Sometimes you just decide, I don't want this bitterness in my future. Now, loving them, forgiving them doesn't necessarily mean, that you would allow them infiltrate your space again if they are still, hurting you, if they're still causing you pain. You can forgive them and love them, from a healthy distance. But even distance can carry respect and kindness. Love doesn't mean tolerating harm. It just means that you have let go of the hurt and the bitterness because you want better for yourself and for your children. I believe that one day we'll thank ourselves for choosing connection over ego. Thank ourselves for picking up the phone instead of letting pride hold it down. We thank ourselves for making peace when we could, because even if we didn't do everything right, we did what we could. And that brings peace. One day, maybe you'll be a parent too, if you're not yet, and you realize that you mess up in ways that you can't even imagine right now. And I hope that your children will show you grace too. Yeah. So to my dear future me, I would like to say, I hope you look back with a light heart. I hope you did what you could. I hope you didn't let stubbornness rob you of memories. I hope you knew when to forgive, when to speak, when to just hug them one more time. Okay? I hope you can sit at peace with how you loved your parents imperfectly but wholeheartedly. I hope this is also same for you. If this made you think, I want you to tell me in the comment section, alright? What would you do differently after today? Maybe you call them tonight, maybe send a text message, but just make a step, do something. Alright? Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself, take care of your heart, and those who raised it.